Hello and welcome to another week's summary of Yoga Vasistha, 1st August to 7th of August. If you remember last week's summary, we also talked about a story of a sage called Vitahavya, who was contemplated a lot of amazing things in last time, and then he is actually abandoning everything and going into the meditation where this page of Yoga Vasistha starts. So Vasistha continues. Once the sage Vitahavya felt inclined to abandon his body and to ensure that he would never again return to embodiments, he resorted into the cave. And then there he contemplated. This is one of the best contemplation that you can come across, because in this sage Vitahavi has talked about all the different aspects of our existence which can disturb us for being established with the self-knowledge. So he talks about the attraction first. He said, "Oh, attraction, abandon your force of attraction." So he's requesting the attractions to abandon the force of attraction. Then, "Oh, hate, abandon the hatred. O pleasures, salutations to you. You have indeed sustained me all these years and even made me forget the self." All the pleasures that you achieve in your life, that takes you away from the self and they make you forget about the self. However, he talks about the sorrow in such a way that he says, "Oh sorrow, salutations to you. You spurred me on my quest for self-knowledge, and it is by your grace that I have attained this self-knowledge. Hence, you are indeed the bestower of delight." It is the sorrow, the sadness, the suffering in our life that is actually pushes us to find out the truth. According to sage Vitahavya, he says it is the sorrow which has pushed me to attain the self-knowledge. So he is actually paying his tribute and his gratefulness towards the sorrow. He also talks, "Oh body, my friend, permit me to go to my eternal abode of self-knowledge. Oh body, my friend, you have been my relation for a long time. I abandon you now. You yourself have brought on this separation by nobly leading me to the realization of the self." So it is the body which is required for the realization of the self. If you do not have the body, before you have this body, or before you are what we call so-called a birth, or this consciousness got attached to this body, there was no way or no proof or no reference point from where we are actually doing this self-inquiry. So our body, our mind, this whole illusion, this whole maya that has come up on this consciousness is required for us to understand the truth. Because when this was not there, before we came to this world, we were just living the way we were, into that supreme state of consciousness without understanding anything. We were not getting affected by the suffering. We were not getting affected by the maya or the illusion. We were not getting affected by the sorrow or the painful things that we are going through, the pleasures or the happiness that's happening here. All the good and bad, right and wrong, all the things were not there when we were not in this body form. So it is the body which has actually helped us in a big way to understanding this self-knowledge. "Oh mother craving, give me leave to go. Oh lust, in order to conquer you, I befriended the enemy called dispassion. Forgive me, I proceed to freedom. Bless me. Oh merit, salutations to you. For you rescued me from hell. Salutations to demerit also," he's saying. "The source of all pain and punishment. Salutations to delusion, under which I labored for a long time and which is not seen by me even now." So he's basically, before he is reaching to that particular point, that particular state where right and wrong coexist, pure and impure coexist, freedom and non-freedom, or uh, freedom was the other word for freedom. Okay, it will come back. Freedom and non-freedom, pain and pleasure, everything just coexist. He's reaching to that particular state where he can see everything happening within himself. So he is giving his salutations and gratefulness to all those things. He's also saying, okay, the companion of samadhi, salutations to you. You have given me the shelter. Oh staff, you have been my friend too, protecting me from the snakes, the people who must have helped him. A body returned to the elements. Salutations to the activities which happen to this body, to happens to this world, and salutations to the life force for being companion. O senses, return to your own sources, the cosmic elements. There are gross elements and then there are subtle elements which are also available, which are also there, which has got the effect on the subtle existence of our sense, of our being. So the mind exists with the subtle senses, having the effect on the subtlety of the mind, on the intellect, on our consciousness, on our ego sense. All those subtle existence of ourself has been affected by the subtle existence of the elements, and the gross existence of the elements has got the effect on the gross existence of our own self, that is body. So when it rains, our body behaves in such a way. When it's hot, our body behaves in such a way. When it's windy, when anything changes in the elements, good or bad, our body will react to that. I shall now say. And then he says Om, and he goes into the meditation. And then Vasistha continues. With all the desires in the mind utterly silenced and having well grounded himself, well grounded himself in the plane of non-dual consciousness, says Vitahavya, uttered the holy word Om. So the plane of non-dual consciousness. And then after that he says, he renounced the three worlds. He again said Om, and he pierced the darkness of ignorance. He transcended both light and the darkness. So it is that the plane, he grounded himself into the plane of non-dual existence, where he became one with the whole existence, non-dual consciousness, and he renounced the three worlds. It's called Bhu, Bhava and Swa. The three worlds are Bhutlok, means the physical existence. Bhava means the Pitrulok, means when our ancestors are living, when the body is dropped, that energies, they remain into that particular area or the plane of consciousness, where all this little bit of grossness of consciousness with the memory form and with the conditioning is there. And then the third one is called Swargalok. Swargalok means where you have dropped few of the conditions and you have gone to the abode of the heaven. You can say heaven, or you can say the supreme, the close to the supreme nature of the consciousness. You are progress to the another level of that particular consciousness. However, understand one thing, this is all again the mental conditioning that we can think of ourselves. In reality, whatever is happening. This consciousness, which is completely free from all this conditioning, has been attached to one body, attached to some conditioning, and calling itself as an individual from the rest of the consciousness that it was a part of, and the whole journey of individual consciousness has begun. And then that conditioning takes its time to let go. So it can, of course, the conditioning takes its time to let go. It can happen only when you are in a body form. No person in this whole world has enlightened after leaving the body form, because when the body and mind is not there, you cannot perform any action. the actions only can get performed only when you are in the body and mind form. When you are caught up with the body and mind, conditioning of the body and mind, that you can free yourself from body and mind, and then you can experience the self knowledge or the complete freedom. When the body and mind is not there, and yet if we consider for the moment of the time that your consciousness is still conditioned or still have the strong influence of some of the experiences that you have been gone through in this world, then that conditioning of the consciousness has got no tool as a body and mind to overcome those conditioning. That's why it waits for some time and it again comes back into the body and mind form, and again needs to go all those things. That could be the one way of saying all those things. However, this is what some of the scriptures say, some of the Vedas say, some of the different religions, some of the all those Puranas and the stories and mythological and philosophical things in different background of the people that they follow. However, there is another way of seeing also this thing, that maybe I am not aware of what happened in the last lifetimes. I am not getting any vision or understanding about that. That memory is not there. So it could be a new start, because when we are in this body form and when we are reaching towards the self-realization or walking towards the path of self-realization, the foremost thing that we need to implement in our life is being in this present moment, because everything exists only now. Past and future are just the mere concepts in our head, in our mind. Past and future are just the there as an idea in our mind. It is not in reality. I cannot even go 1 minute back, or I cannot even think and live in 1 minute forward. I am always there only in this moment. You are always there only in this moment. And so if that is the truth, if we will consider, then after the death also the same thing continues. Why? There is no need of being the conditioned mind going into the other body and all that. This body has formed because of the consciousness attached to this body. This body has got some experiences. This body has hold on to those experiences. It is conditioned, and it will uncondition himself after we die. Only if you want to have the strongest good desire, or if you're seeking to understand the truth while this journey of the consciousness is happening through this body, you can use this body and mind and utilize it for the purpose of sitting with yourself and understanding the true nature of yourself, which is the purest form of the consciousness. So that is why he's saying salutations to them. That is a non-dual consciousness, and then he renounced the three worlds, and then he transcended both light and darkness, and then he remains there for some time. He crossed the state of Pashyanti and reached to the deep sleep consciousness. Now the words are expressed into the four forms. The knowledge is transferred in this world into the four forms according to the yogi scriptures. First one is Para Pashyanti Madhyama Vaikhari. First one is Vaikhari. Vaikhari means the physical words that you can hear. I am saying something, you are listening something. There is a sound being created by me, and that sound has been received by you. That is Vaikhari. That is on the physical level. Now Madhyama. Madhyama is on the mental level. I am creating some sound which is heard by me. You are creating some sound, some thoughts, what we call in common language, and that has been heard by you. Then Pashyanti. Pashyanti means emotional or beyond emotional, the state where you can just have that feeling before the thought comes. Now let's take an example, then that will make it more clear. Let's take an example of bad and good. We'll take both the examples. I'm shouting at you because I am angry on you. I'm saying you should not have done this thing, why you are doing all these things. These are the words you hear. Deep inside me, in my mind, I'm thinking, this is not done, how dare they do this, all those madhyama is happening. Behind that, there is a strong feeling of anger that I can feel. And beyond that, there is something that is been there which is provoking this feeling, my ego, in such a way that how dare this can happen to me, and somebody can challenge my understanding or my concepts. One example, the good example could be, I'm praising you, I'm saying, oh my goodness, you have done such a wonderful job, you are so nice to everybody, you have got such a good qualities inside you. Inside me, I am thinking the same thing about you. That person has been bestowed with such a good qualities. Is there anything that I can do? How can I implement those qualities in me? XYZ, that thought is going on. Behind that, there is a pleasant feeling of me when I see you, when I meet you, when I think about you. And behind that, there is a sense of belongingness. In the previous negative thing, we had the sense of separatedness. The feelings were anger feeling, hatred feeling, and now here. So that feelings of hatred, anger, or belongingness, compassion, that exist on one level. Again, they are opposites. That's why they coexist and they are there. When you cross that and go beyond, that is called Pashyanti. That is called the area of Pashyanti, where the feelings are happening and you are experiencing that. And then the next one after that is Para. Para means the pure form of consciousness. So when the Guru transfers the knowledge, then it can be through Vaikhari, through Madhyama, through Pashyanti, or through Para. When it happens through the Para, then Para is there in that level where there is no space and time exist. So no matter however far your Guru will be or wherever you will be, the knowledge will be transferred to you without any time or without any space getting involved, like instantly. So sometimes people say, at this age, when I was doing this, all of a sudden I got this particular knowledge and I felt like my life changed. All those miracles or all those stories that you hear is because that knowledge has been come through that Para state. It is full of non-consciousness and objectless consciousness. It can only be indicated by negation. Not this, not this. He became that which is beyond description. So till that level you go, till that level you go to Para level, where you just have that beyond the feeling, that you are experiencing the feeling also. And then you are into that level of just being with yourself. All the above levels of your existence can be you can overcome or you can surpass those levels by one method of neti, not this, not this. Whatever you are thinking, you are experiencing, you are observing, you are perceiving, you are thinking, you are whatever, till the time there is the object, till the time your observer, your experiencer, your knower, everything is separate. Becoming one with the observer, becoming one with the knower, becoming one with the experience is the whole journey is all about. And that can only be happen, that he's saying here is by saying not this, not this. I can see this means I'm seeing this means this is object for my eyes. That means, or my either for my physical eyes or for my mental eyes. But then I'm feeling this, that is, it is separate from me. Who is feeling, who is observing, who is watching, who is listening right now? Who is that who is sitting inside and listening all those things? So that subtle existence of I am, that presence of yourself, that beingness of yourself, if you can just feel for, and it is so simple and so easy that you just hear this word, who is sitting inside you? Can you experience that I am? That beingness inside you. You got it. Immediately you will get it. However, the problem happens when you start analyzing it, because you're out of that. To analyze it, to experience it, to furthermore know it, you are out of that. And then the whole journey starts again. I want to go back to that again. Then again. But then it's very simple. And it is very profound. It is the key, the door which opens to all this knowledge. It is the key that open to the door which is to the one beyond that. We call that also a Brahman, consciousness, Purusha in Sankhya, Ishvara in Yogi, Shiva, time, Atman, self, and the middle, everything in words has been given. But then that is also depending on something, na? Because that is still separate. It has been given names. It is still experience. And what is that in which there is no experience of anything? Not even this. So that is called Parabrahman. That is called the Supreme Consciousness. That is called the Absolute. So it is after that level of Para. It is after that level of you being one with that I amness. Because I am, there is I and am. Amness, where there is no I also exists. Beingness, where there is no I am being also not exist. That is the level which is beyond that. Seven said, the sage said this, and he became one with the infinite consciousness. And again, at that level, so whatever I'm experiencing, it is the same formula that can be used. Not this, not this. I am one with myself, but then in what I am existing, this oneness with myself, and letting go of that, you know. That's where what we call as the grace of the Guru is needed. Again, Guru is the embodiment of that knowledge, and that solidification, that whole knowledge, that the purest form of knowledge has come from the level to which we are going, we want to experience, we want to reach, and that is the whole Guru Tattva is. So until and unless there is a blessing of that Guru Tattva for you who is experiencing yourself as an individual consciousness, you will not go beyond that individual consciousness and merge with oneness with that Guru Tattva or that infinite or that absolute, you know. And that's why you need the blessing of that, and that can happen only with that blessing, that how much intensity, purity, and simplicity and letting go and surrender is you are having on the level of your individual consciousness. So that's why it said that once you reach to that level of being one with yourself, then you can't do much. Then you have to just wait for that grace to play its magic, and then it will happen with whatever time it will take. 1 day, 2 day, 1 year, 2 year, 10 year, or depends on how much the subtlety of the conditioning mind is still present there, or conditioning consciousness is still there, you know. And then he says, meditate upon this, O Rama, and remain and attain the wisdom. Liberation is attained only by the wisdom of self-knowledge. Only through the wisdom does one go beyond sorrow and destroy the ignorance and attain perfection. Because this body and mind and this individual consciousness and all these things has come from that which is there. So once you touch that, after that, this whole system, the projection has happened from the subtle to the gross level. It starts acting perfected, because that is expressing itself through that. There is a purity into all these forms. The mirror and the glass has become so pure that the light is going completely the same it should be, the way it should be, without getting diluted or without getting any of the colors attached to that, you know. The pure light is just going through. So the actions become perfected, thoughts become perfected, everything that you do will become perfected after that. Now Rama asked, these people in the liberated sages, they travel in the sky, and we not see many of these sages. So he says, you know, flying in the sky, disappearing at one place, coming in another place, taking out the objects from the space, all those things. I've just mentioned few more to you. All these things are, you know, these are supernatural powers that the people can get. However, to get that supernatural power, he has explained very well, you know, they who pursue the pleasures acquire these powers tainted by ignorance and are surely full of ignorance. The sages of self-knowledge do not adopt such curse. Even for getting these powers, one has to engage themselves into some practices. And any practice that you do, it acts as an effort on the level of the body or mind. Anything you want to disappear, you want to fly, you want to create the objects in the space, anything that you want to do as a power, it will require a certain level of practice. and then those practices will give you those powers. And he said the knowledge of the person who has got the self knowledge, he just knows that everything is just existing into that, and everything is just functioning into that. Then why he will get tinted to this such powers? Poison kills all, wine intoxicate all. So all the practices bring about the ability to fly and all that, but they who have attained the supreme self knowledge and not are not interested into this. Then Rama asked that how come these worms and other things did not destroy the body of Vitahavya. Then he said, because Vitahavya has gone into the level of consciousness and his prana has stopped moving and everything in this body has stopped functioning. It was just become still in that moment the way it is. And that's why there was nothing which was destroying the body. The sage is independent and free to leave or to abandon the body. That he does not abandon the body or one time and so later purely coincident. It is related to his karma. So whatever the actions has happened by this body and mind, and whatever the concepts has been formed into that individual consciousness, which is expecting itself to achieve the self-knowledge, those actions are still there, those impressions are still there, those concepts are still there in some of the form. According to that, the destruction of this body will happen. And when the new body will come in the form, that new body will have its own actions happening. So it's a whole journey, it's just happening in this whole thing. And once you start understanding this, know this, start knowing this, start observing this, then you start becoming free from all those drama that is happening. You will start feeling one with yourself and dispassionate about other things, detached from other things. So you will be doing whatever is required from you, but you will not have any aversion or craving for any of those things. Then he said, when the mind of the Vitahavya has become unattached and totally free, then the qualities like friendliness, compassion, belongingness, all this came. Then Rama says, but then if this is, he is gone into the, dissolved into the Brahman, then how come these qualities of friendliness and compassion, all those arise, and to whom it arise? So Vasistha has explained, given the nice example, nice explanation that death of the mind is of two types. One is that the sage is living in the body and the mind is dead. So he's got the self knowledge, he's enlightened, and he's still in the body form. And then there is one that who has not been in the body form. As long as there is mind, there is a cessation of sorrow. Okay, now before that, let's read this. One in where the form of the mind remains, and the other in which the form ceases to be. The former happens with the sages who are alive, and the latter happens when they embodied. The existence of the mind causes misery, and its cessation brings joy. The mind that is heavily conditioned and caught into its own conditioning brings out repetition of the birth. Such mind brings unhappiness. And that which regards as my own, the qualities that is beginningless, is the jiva. It arises in the mind which has no self-knowledge and which therefore is unhappy. As long as there is a mind, there is cessation of sorrow. I shall now describe you how the mind ceases to be. So now he just said, this friendliness and all these qualities arise to the one who is still in the form of the body. And then there are how the mind ceases to be, when both happiness and unhappiness do not divert the mind. And till the time there are opposites, the mind is existing. When you are going beyond the opposites, and when you will see the opposites happening inside you, whether it's a pleasurable or unpleasurable, happy or not happy, good or bad, right or wrong, pure or impure, everything that is been just happening, and not that you are inclined towards one and you are declining or you are rejecting other. The path of the spirituality starts when you have inclination towards the right, good, happy, pleasurable things. You want more happiness, you want more pleasure, you want more, you want to go, you don't want any more suffering, you don't want any more sorrow, you don't want any more pain. So there is a rejection, and then there is acceptance, and then the journey starts. This is very natural state. When you progress, and when you become advanced, and when you start seeking the self knowledge and go beyond the mind level, then that time you have to let go of both, because both coexist. If you want pleasure, then pleasure, pain will come. If you don't want pain, then the pleasure will also get rejected. All those things are happening. Happiness will come because sorrow is there, sorrow will be there because happiness is there. Everything will coexisting till the time you are caught up into this individual consciousness and the mind level. Once you go beyond that, then he is saying, this is this I am and this I am not. All those things. Calamity, poetry. One who is not even having any notions of calamity, poetry, elation, pride, dullness, excitement, his mind is dead. And his mind is dead and he is liberated. So you are not getting affected by whatever is happening in and around you, because most of the people gets affected by the things happening around them. You should act for the betterment of the humanity. Again, understand the thing. You should act for the betterment of the humanity. Somebody is suffering, you should go and help them. If some calamities happen, natural calamity or man-made calamity, you should go and help them. Service is very much required in this world. However, in your mind you are thinking about that and you are getting affected by that. That is means you are still living on the level of the mind. Okay, this has happened, this was supposed to happen and it just happened. Now let me see what I can do for you. I cannot change this, but I can at least give my efforts to do this, because if I will not be in this body form, I will not be able to help also. So now I'm in this body form, so let me help you. So you are taking yourself away from that. Some good things will happen. You are getting some good awards and good some lots and lots of people are praising you and all that. So what? Then also staying grounded and being in the knowledge is required, because not getting swayed away. If your mind is thinking, oh my goodness, I'm getting this, I'm the only one who can do this, I'm the only nice person, the only person to worthy of becoming guru and all that, you are gone into that trip of ego. So that is also not right. So he's saying right and wrong both, happy and unhappy, sorrow and good and pleasure and sorrow both. The very nature of the mind is stupidity. Hence, when it dies, purity and noble qualities arises. So these are qualities are already there, in your such a mind of the liberated sages. Some wise men refer it as a pure mind, and in this such a mind, noble qualities like friendliness, compassion, all this exist. The existence, such a natural goodness in the liberated sage is called sattva, the purity. And then he explains about neither the light nor the darkness, no conditioning, no notions of other. He just explains something a little bit more further into that. Then 5th of August we are on. He's saying there are two seeds of the tree known as mind that carries them. Sorry, the Lord Rama asked then, okay, what is the seed of this fearful tree known as mind, and what is the seed of that seed? So he said, O Rama, the seed of the world appearance is the body, and the seed of the body is mind, and the seed of the mind is mind, and which flows constantly in the direction of the hopes and desires. The world appearance arises only in the mind and illustrated by the dream state. The two seeds for the tree known as mind, which carries within its innumerable notions of ideas and movements, are prana and obstinate fancy. Obstinate means the word is used for stubbornness. Means you are just got this strong fancies inside you, strong ideas inside you, and the life force that is happening. So when there is a movement in the prana, in the appropriate channel, there is a movement in the consciousness, and the mind arises. That you must have known by now. Again, in the movement of the prana alone, that is seen as a world appearances, and which is real as the blueness of the sky. Blueness of the sky is not real. So the world appearance is unreal, he is saying. The cessation of the movement of the prana is the cessation of the world appearance, and the omnipresent consciousness is the awakened, and by the omnipresent consciousness is awakened as it were by the movement of the prana. If this does not happen, then there is a supreme good. So understand, the moment you hold the thought, the moment you hold the breath for some time, you will see that the thoughts are vanishing and the mind is becoming still. However, we can't just live without holding the breath for the long time. Breath is directly attached to the prana. So you're holding the breath means you're controlling the movement of the prana inside you. So you have to work on the movement of the prana and detach your breath in such a way that you are still breathing, but you're having a say over the movement of the prana, that you can minimize that, you can observe that, you can detach from that, and then the flow of the mind will stop. Again, what is mind? Mind is nothing but it is full of fancy ideas and desires. So it should not go towards that also. It should not get attracted towards the sense object. That is the one thing. Or it should, the movement of the prana is happening inside you. That is another thing. Two things are there which are actually keeping the mind, seed for the mind. When consciousness is awakened, thus it begins to apprehend the objects that you know, that we start going towards the objects. On the other hand, consciousness rests in itself as it fast asleep, and the one attains the most desirable, whatever is desirable in that supreme state. In order to bring about the conscience of the mind, the yogi practices pranayam. So that's what we talked about. The yogi practices pranayam and meditation, such are the proper appropriate methods. Great yogi regards pranayam itself as the most appropriate, and I shall not describe you other viewpoint. So he is saying, like the moment of the prana is happening and the mind is coming into its existence, or when the mind sees, when the consciousness sees this object of the senses and it wants to get those object of the senses, then also the mind comes in the form. So what is the way you can stop the movement of the prana, he says, and how it can be stopped? By the practicing pranayama. Pranayama means breathing practices. So breathing practices has got two aspects. One is inhalation, exhalation, the movement is happening, and second is holding, retention. Now the retention can happen before the inhalation, then retention, then exhalation, then retention. So there can be many different ways of practicing this, where you are implementing that retention, how long your inhalation, how long is your exhalation. So all these pranayam practices, how fast is your inhalation, how fast is exhalation, everything, all these practices of the pranayam is depends on all those understanding of this breath, how it's working and all that. And when you practice it for a certain amount of time with intense practice, that you will have a say over the breath, about holding it, retaining it, slowing it down, and then it will start automatically having a say over the movement of the prana, and then your mind will start becoming steady. However, there is another way, that is for clinging to the fancy, abandon through the inquiry of the nature of the truth. Yeah, and then the other one is, your mind is going towards the, it's clinging to the fancy, it's clinging to the ideas, it wants its pleasure, it wants to hold on to those objects, and it wants to please the senses. Then the second one is, one apprehend an object with that fancy, and then that is conditioning, that is called the conditioning. And then when the psychological conditioning or limitation is not dense, and when you go into the nature of the truth, when the what is the nature of the truth? Going beyond the mind and understanding the consciousness. Mind is nothing but when the consciousness is getting attached to the concept, and the consciousness is using one of these methods of communication, either on the emotional or feeling level, or mental level, or on physical level. It is repeating itself into that form, and that conditioning is becoming stronger, and the consciousness is attached with that, and that conditioning is related to the pleasuring of the senses through the objects of the senses. Then all this whole drama is happening. Now the moment you go to the nature of the truth, you are becoming one with the consciousness and witnessing all those things happening, you are automatically detaching yourself, and that hold is becoming loose, that conditioning is becoming loose, that that grip is becoming loose, the grip on the object of the senses, and then you are becoming free from that. So these two seeds, movement of prana and clinging to the fancy, if one is got rid of, the other always goes away, because two are interdependent, you know. Again, movement of prana also takes place because there is a mental conditioning, and mental conditioning is there because there is a movement of prana. So it's a vicious cycle, you know, you can just go around and around to that. However, the best thing is, Rama, the notion of an object of knowledge and or experience is the seed for the both movement of prana and clinging. For it is only when such desire for experience arises in the heart, such movement of prana and mental conditioning happen. When such desire experience is abandoned, both of these cease to be. So if you just drop that, you just become one with yourself and drop that, whatever the movement is happening on the level of mental or physical or feeling, then you just become one with yourself, and the other effect of that happened, the movement stops, the flow of prana becomes pure. So either you can go from outside to inside, or you can just establish into inside, and though everything from outside to inside, that thing happening will stop automatically. He is saying like that, you know. Oh Lord, can these two be reconciled? Can I seek freedom from all experiences at the same time? He said, he who has no desire or hope for anything here, nor entertains a wish to rest in the activity, such a one does not exist as a jiva. He is neither inactive nor does he seek the experience. He does not lean toward the experience of perception nor the objects. The objectivity experiences do not touch the heart at all. Hence, he whose consciousness is not inactive is liberated sage here and now. So the once you, again the same thing he said that into wonderful way. Once you establish into this consciousness, and all those objective experiences are not touching you, you're still functioning but your objective experiences are not touching you, and no desire, no hope, nor entertaining the wish, or he's not resting in activity, you know, means he's not been affected by whatever is happening. Everything is happening and everything is just affected, has got many of the causes and many of the effects on its own. You are thinking that you are sitting there and listening to me, and you taking out that time to listen to me is the cause for that. But that mobile you purchased, the person who made the mobile, the person who made YouTube, the person who made this video, the person who got you to Australia, you are living here, you are doing all those things, your desire to understand this thing, everything is affecting this. The person who fed you, the person who gave this knowledge, the person who fed me, who gave me this knowledge, who gave me from, who made this phone, you know, everything, every smaller than the smaller thing which is involved into all those things is a cause for you to listen and me to say all those things. So in that way, everything is happening, and when you understand this happening and you are not getting attached or you are not getting detached to that, then you are going to the source. Then he said, Rama asked, kindly tell me how may quickly destroy all these seeds of distraction. He said these seeds are seeds of sorrow, Rama, can be destroyed by the destruction of the previous one. Previous one means if you want to destroy the world, then you have to focus on the body. If you want to destroy the body, then focus on the mind. Like you just keep going on, you know. But if you want to one stroke cut off all the mental conditioning with the self effort, then rest into the state of pure existence. If you rest in that state even for a second, then in no time you will be established in it. And however you wish merely to find, meditation is not possible on the object of experiences. Practice of all those. Yeah, then he has given something, but let's see. Let's experience this, actually. Right now, you are there listening to me. So just ask yourself a simple question: who is listening? Who? When Kenopanishad, Gurudev has given this amazing experience of these questions, what? Who? When you hear this question mark without any further explanation of who is blah 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 or what is blah blah blah, then your mind just freezes and becomes still for some time. And then that I am, that consciousness which is there beyond the mind, becomes very prominent. It becomes very easily experienceable. I am. I am here, sitting, walking, listening, driving, whatever it is, I am. That pure beingness which is existing into this body, into its pure form. The moment of the mind is stopped, thought is stopped. That is what is the experience. Knowledge of the self, company of the holy men, abandonment of the conditioning, and restraint of the prana are all the means by which you can overcome the mind. Ignoring this, resort into the violence. Or you can do the practices of Hatha Yoga, pilgrimage, rites. Sorry, this is and Hatha Yoga, austerities, pilgrimage, rites, rituals is a waste of time. Self knowledge alone bestows delight on you. A man of self knowledge alone lives, hence gains self knowledge. They say whatever actions you are doing will not be able to give you the self knowledge. It will give its own benefits to you. However, if you want the self knowledge, then you don't need to do anything but just established into the pure existence of yourself. That state we just experience, or if you're not, you just listen to this and aim to experience that again and again. That stillness inside you, that silence inside you. It's very easily achievable once you start, once you get the glimpse of that. And what he said is, once you get the glimpse of that, you can aim to establish into that. That brings us to the 7th of August, 220 page, end of this week's summary. Keep reading, keep contemplating, and keep questioning, keep challenging, and keep being with yourself. Jai Guru.